What's going on, fam? Commander General Yahanna here, jumping in on you with one more quick one. Man, oh man. Now, you've been hearing a ton about that judge, Amy Barrett, that Trump's about to assign to the Supreme Court. You've been hearing little stories, you've been hearing a little this and a little that. Nobody really cares, that really understands this kingdom, that they're going to do whatever evil it is that they're set to do anyway against the scriptures. We to look to the Lord and his prophecies and what he has in store for us to the future, because all the empires of this world are going to be shut down by the hand of the Most High Power. The same power that they ignored and took lightly and didn't respect is going to shut it all down. So, but I wanted to get in here with this for a second for a reason, because something disturbing popped up on the root about this judge that was, on another level of evil. According to the root, and I'm gonna read some of it. According to the root, first of all, let me give you a little shot of this judge. This is her right here, Amy Barrett. Okay, that's her all the way over there to the right, gripping the two children on the right. And this judge is about to get on the Supreme Court. If you notice, there are two black children in this picture, a little boy and a young lady. And the two children are Levites, Haitians, from the tribe of Levi, chosen people of the Lord. She adopted these two Levite children. This judge is part of a Christian break-off sect called People of Praise. And they real super conservative. If you watch the movie, The Handmaid's Tale.
Once upon a time in the recent future, a country went wrong. The country was called the Republic of Gilead. Ecological disasters ravaged the land, resulting in civil war, political turmoil, and widespread sterility. Only a very few women could still bear children. These women were called handmaids.
What'd you do? How'd they get you?
We tried to cross the border. What about you?
Gender treachery. I like girls.
If you've ever watched that movie, it's a TV show now, but it was a movie back in the 80s. According to some writers and historians, they believe that the movie was based on this religious group she's in. It's a very small group of super conservative religious people, and they believe that they raise their women to be what they call handmaids, which is she's under the husband, but she still runs the household. She's like a boss. They stopped using the term, but she's like a boss, runs the house. But the whole purpose of the religion is to have as many children as the husband wants.
Rachel had no children. And Rachel said,
Give me children, or else I shall die.
I thought I'd like to get to know you a little.
To know me?
Yes. She's probably sterile.
Don't they test them, the men?
No. She couldn't conceive, could she?
So what happened to her?
She hung herself.
That's why, as you can see in that picture, she's got quite a bit of children as well. Now, I tell you, I'm gonna give you a little my own little personal concern as I look at this thing. As I look at this, check this out. This is her and the family again. This is two different pictures. Okay, here's one. Here's the other one. Okay, there's two things that's disturbing about these pictures. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Now, in this picture, you see the young lady and the young boy, the black children, the Levite children, both have on, she has on a purple jumpsuit, he has on a sky blue suit, right? Now, let's take another look at this other photo. In this photo, everybody's clothing is different. The father's clothing, hers, the other children's clothing is different. Notice the young man and the young woman. Now, I don't know, this could be photoshopped, who knows? But something is very disturbing at the fact that they're at another presidential photo shoot, and the two Levite children, the two black children, have on the same clothing. That in itself is questionable. So she adopted these kids from Haiti. But what is heavy, and let me tell you something, and if she gets on, and it's a good chance she's going to get on this court. And if she gets on this court, she is a complete slap in the face to those of us, especially those in the Christian church who believe, or rather, who have not respected the Lord's will when he said we're not to kill our babies. Because she's a super conservative, believe in the right to life, believe in no abortion, believe in having as many babies as they can, and adopted these 2 Haitian children, which, is not good. It's not good. Don't think that makes her a humanitarian or anything. I won't be surprised if it pops up later, that somebody is messing with that young girl. So I'm not accusing, I'm just saying. But it's definitely in Esau's purview to do that kind of perverted stuff. If the Roman Catholic Church itself is running around raping every little boy, okay, and extorting and doing all kind of evil, it ain't beyond this group of Edomites to also turn around and, mess over one of these children. And I noticed in both of those photo ops, the young lady is standing next to that husband, that Edomite husband. The other thing that's disturbing, even the sister done did the same thing. She got a bunch of children and adopted some black children. Like, they think they can create their own black America in many cases, man. And y'all better wake up to this, man. You better take responsibility for your nation. But we're going to get into the meat of the real problem with her that just came out. The Root busted it out. Others busted it out. Edomites are mad as hell, especially those conservative Edomites are angry. Like, I can't even begin to explain to you how pissed off they are. And a big part of that, the reason they're pissed off is because of her decision and it coming out. This same woman that adopted these Haitian children also put down a ruling against a young black man in 2015 that was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was literally amazing. In her ruling, and let me get the words from the quote. In her ruling against this case, which I'm going to read you some of the case, she said clearly that the young brother in this case, who also died in police custody, okay, Tyrell Day, which is his name, he died in police custody in 2015. She eventually ruled on the case. And in the case, listen to this good, y'all. She said that Tyrell Day didn't have the right to breathe as a constitutional right. That it was not his constitutional right to be able to breathe. It was, in other words, it was not Esau's problem that he had him in handcuffs and that he, killed his brother. That was not Esau's problem. It was not Esau's issue that he killed this young black man. Once again, a lot of you Christians gonna hate this, especially you black Christians that's in the church. You murdering the Lord's chosen people. And the Lord is bringing conservatives to your doorstep to try and show you that you have become, just like the scriptures say, you have become more wicked than the wicked, man. And the Lord is mad as hell with you over it. Okay? So you become more wicked because you know better, and you sitting up there allowing them to murder the Lord's chosen people in the abortion clinics, and you fighting tooth and nail against this conservative judge, a Edomite, a monster. You fighting against this conservative judge, which you should in righteousness, but you fighting against this judge for a wicked reason, for the right to murder our babies. And in turn, this judge went and got 2 of our Levite children and really spitting in our face to the fact that that we want to have the right to kill our babies. While this judge is saying, look, I'm even raising your children. Where's the shame, black man? Where's the shame, West Indian, Haitian, and all the other tribes? Where's the shame, man? A man is supposed to care over his family. And then once it goes beyond his family, it's supposed to go beyond it's supposed to go up to his nation. First his tribe, then his nation. That's the order of things as you go and expand out with your hand of care. You living in your tribe, you help your tribe. You living in your nation, you help your nation. Instead, we fighting the Edomites to murder our own children, while they taking our children and God knows what. Because this religion, man, is some ultra conservative Christian, probably a bunch of maniacs. They probably ain't telling all the secrets. They probably on some polygamy. That young girl might be the handmaid or concubine of that cat. They going deep into the scriptures. But as they going into the scriptures, they gonna put the evil Edomite spin on the scriptures. And this judge has done exactly that. Like, to be a Christian, she just came out in a judgment in 2015, according to the roots, that she came out with this judgment and said, that this brother Tyrell did not have a right to breathe. Anyway, let me read the story to you. Here's what it says. In 2015, Indianapolis Metro Police Department officers responded to a call after a loss prevention officer alleged that an 18-year-old Tyrell Day had stolen a watch from the Burlington Coat Factory at Indianapolis Washington Square Mall. Day ran out of the mall, followed by a police officer and a security guard who said that Day was carrying a gun, according to the Indianapolis Star. When the discount outlet watch recovery team, Day security guards, caught up with Day, he had collapsed on a grassy slope across the street. The Indianapolis PD officers Randall Denny arrived on the scene and noticed that the 312-pound teenager had defecated on himself. He took a dump on himself and was sweating and breathing heavily. Officer Denny handcuffed Day, told him to take a few deep breaths, and sat the teen in an upright seated position. But Day, still out of breath, kept laying down and eventually rolled down the slope, and with his hands cuffed behind his back. At this point, the gun was no longer on Day's person, but was lying in the grass a few feet away and out of the reach. So he fell down this hill. He was so exhausted, he fell down this hill, and he rolled. Okay, he still had the handcuffs on him, was exhausted, 300 pounds, you understand, and was exhausted after allegedly stealing a watch. Okay, they complained to the Sergeant Wooten, that he couldn't breathe. Reads the circuit court opinion. Sergeant Wooten was skeptical of the complaints because Day also complained that he had done nothing wrong and was being asked to be released. All the same, Wooten, the sergeant, called for an ambulance to evaluate Day approximately 5 minutes after Day was initially detained. So after 5 minutes, he said, "Man, let me get an ambulance. Let me check this kid out. Let me see what's going on with him." All right. After he was detained, after paramedics said that Day didn't go to the hospital, so he refused. The 18-year-old refused. Tyrell refused to go to the hospital. Okay. Wooten signed a form that said Day refused treatment, placed another set of handcuffs on Day, and called for a police wagon to transport Day to the jail. When the wagon arrived, the officers tried to lift Day, but he was unresponsive. The drivers called a second ambulance. Wooten waited while Day lay on the ground in his own feces. Wooten waited while Day complained that he couldn't breathe. Wooten waited until Day was listless, was according to them listless, meaning he couldn't move. Wooten, who received CPR training by the IMPD that specifically informed him about the dangers of positional asphyxiation, the term they use when you handcuffed and you die of suffocation because you're laying on your stomach and they got you handcuffed. And here's what's so wicked about this. Only now is this term becoming common. Like, they probably been killing us this way for years and years and years, putting you in the ambulance, sending you to the hospital, you already dead on arrival. They say you died at the hospital. Cops never even get questioned about it. Meanwhile, they've been knowing this been going on. The kind of monstrosity and madness that we've allowed to go on among here, and why the Lord is raising up strong black men. And let me tell you something, man. As a black man, man, you need to get to your responsibility, man. It's your responsibility to find out who you are. It's your responsibility to get the truth about your identity, man. It's your responsibility, black man. It's your responsibility to figure out that you are God's chosen people and to go search these records out and begin to rear your nation up, man. Not join in the party of destroying your nation, man, or following the heathens into some silly madness, man. Like, when you gonna recognize what and who you are, man, and what your job is on this earth, where you supposed to be at in this work? Look, don't forget Ice Cube. Ice Cube is saying he's for Trump, who's putting in the Supreme Court. Once again, it's why it's such a foolish move. Both of them are off as hell, and they need to be left in the hands of the Lord, because you put her on the court and forget about it. Look what she's getting ready to vote on. You won't even have the right to breathe if you leave it to her. You won't have the right to raise any issue about yourself and your own survival and your dignity, man, and self-respect. You gonna tell me that's what's going on in that house? I can almost guarantee you them children are being made every day to be thankful for getting up out of there, and made every day to be reminded of how humble they must be to their slave masters for the gift their slave masters has gotten them. So I don't understand why Ice Cube jumped on board with this. Maybe he's just trying to get down with whoever he believes is going to win this race. But it's time, man, to turn to the Lord. Time now to find our own identity, which we've already found, the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. And everybody's waking up to it, and everybody's beginning to see it. And that's where we got to turn to, not to all this other nonsense that's out here, man. Okay? And I ain't even going to go back to the whole issue with the way he's treating the Mexicans, our brothers down there at the border. For us to ever side with him against them, okay, is evil. How you going to side with any man that is willing to lock babies up in cages? You siding with the wrong cat, man. Because eventually he'll lock your babies up in cages if you allow him to. If you like, who you think you tying your hands with? Who you think you shaking hands with, man? Shaking hands with monsters, man. You understand? Absolute monster. Let me get back on this, all right? Here's what it says. Okay? So he had this CPR training that said that, watch out for these dangers. You could asphyxiate somebody with them handcuffs, which is said can occur when a suspect, especially a larger one, is placed on their chest or stomach with the suspect's arms and legs restrained behind his back. They waited a while, lay on the ground in his own feces, handcuffed twice, complained that he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe. The ambulance left. He's still sitting here, all right, for 42 minutes. When the coroner arrived on the scene, he saw no visible signs of trauma, but when he saw the handcuffs still on there, imagine that, the brother passed out on the ground and was dying, and they still didn't take the handcuffs off. He immediately knew what had happened. The autopsy verified it. Tyrell Day's official cause of death was listed as sudden cardiac death, but it wasn't just a heart attack. Listed as contributing cause was Day's hands being cuffed behind his back. So now, of course, his mother took this to court. They had him handcuffed. He was the suspect. He shouldn't have died in their custody. She took it to court. On May, just last year, May of 2019, a federal district court agreed that Tyrell's mother, Shanika, had the right to sue Wooten, ruling that reasonable officers would know they were violating and establishing the right by violating an established right by leaving Day's hand cuffed behind his back after he complained of difficulty breathing. But then Wooten appealed, and Amy Barrett stepped in. Okay? Amy Barrett stepped in. Check out Amy Barrett. This is a monster. You got them Haitian kids looking like a humanitarian, which is just how a white supremacist would do. Not saying she is, but she sure acting like one. But that's what a white supremacist would do. The ultimate wise side of it would be to set these laws in place and to turn around and still adopt some Haitian kids, either for labor, concubine, or abuse. Like I said, everybody else had on different clothes. That in itself is suspect. Let me go on. When Franklin Wooten appeared to Barrett's court, the Supreme Court nominee was flanked by Reagan appointees. According to the data, Barrett is more of a right-wing radical. This is, of course, those on the left that don't like her, mad over the whole Trump appointee and blah, blah, blah. I don't give a damn that Trump appoints. I don't give a damn who's on the Supreme Court. The Lord don't give a damn who's on the Supreme Court. But here's what you should care about, black man. A couple of things in this case. That the judgments that they having on you are ridiculous. You don't even have a right to breathe. Okay? Like if your air gets cut off according to her judgment, you don't have a right to breathe. And more than that. And on top of that, your children got to be raised by these people. She's going to be raised, these children, and this religion they in, they super strict. They got advisors that tell you who you can marry, tell you who you can date, tell you all that. Instead of your father and mother raising you up and marrying you off, these advisors do that. And these handmaid wives, brother, are like, you know, they like the Gestapo in this religion. They run everything up under a man. Really, for real, they just putting the man in that place to make it seem like he's in charge when really they the ones running the show. You need to wake up, man, and see how evil this is that's happening to us. You about to get a judge on the Supreme Court that says you don't have a right to breathe. And you ain't voting that out. I don't want to see all the voter votes talk that mess now. Because you not voting her out. Ain't nothing to do. The Senate want to put her in, she going in. And once again, on and on and on with whatever evil program they decide to do against us. And it's you Christians' fault, man. Those of you in that church, it's your fault. It's your fault for taking that Planned Parenthood money, man. It's your fault for not putting value on our lives. It's your fault for not organizing our nation to be more concerned with adopting our own children than the right to murder them in an abortion clinic. It's your fault. You the ones caused this, man. And that's why this judgment is going to be vicious on us, man. Okay? Let's get some more. Okay? Here's what it said. But according to the data, she's more of a right wing. The court accepted every fact of the case, but determined that Wooten shouldn't even stand trial. The sergeant, they said he shouldn't even stand trial. They essentially ruled that Wooten was immune from the consequences of his actions because the only right that Tyrell Day had that he could assert would be the right to breathe. To breathe freely, to not have the hands cuffed behind his back after he complained of difficulty breathing. However, the judges hopefully admitted that they could find no Seventh Circuit precedent clearly establishing such a right. They said, we can't find nothing that says you got a right to breathe, so we got to rule against you. Imagine that. Shabika Day's attorney called it a radical departure from prior cases, while co-counsel Alvarez said the ruling put the burden of proof on the person who's dying. Imagine that. You handcuffed and dying. You the one got to prove you got it right. Okay, let's get some more about Barrett. Here's what else they, according to the root, came out about this judge that's getting ready to get on the court and how vicious she is. And how vicious this court will be to you. And it's your fault because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You better wake up quick. And once again, black man, stop waiting on the black woman to lead the way back to which way to serve God. You see what she did in the church. So when you gonna wake up and push yourself up into the position and you gonna be the leader towards where we going with the Most High? You got to be the one to say, you know what, this is what's right. The 12 lost tribes of Israel must return back to Christ and get up under his authority and power so that we can go ahead and do the will of the Lord and fix this nation, man. Check this out. She has also written that being called a stupid ass nigger by one's work supervisor does not necessarily constitute a hostile work environment. Do you hear that? So if you go to work and your boss says that, you know, you are a stupid ass nigga, that doesn't necessarily, you know, state that they discriminating against you. Look at the wonderful white family. That's who getting ready to sit on that court. That old wonderful family adopting black children. Meanwhile, you being called a stupid ass nigga that ain't even a violation to them. You dying while breathing is not a violation to them. You need to look at this picture and see the people that are ruling over you. And brother, you better wake up and see what's going on. I don't know what is going on behind the closed doors in this house, but I guarantee you it got some diabolical Christian madness going on back there. You understand when it all comes out and is said and done, because it is insane. All right, let me get a little bit more, okay? Let me jump back in here just with a little bit more on this. Here's what it said. She said, she also voted to deny employees of AutoZone a rehearing after her colleagues ruled that the auto parts giant didn't violate the civil rights of its black employees by forcing them to work exclusively in black neighborhoods. So the black employees was like, why are you making us only work in black neighborhoods in AutoZone out there in Indianapolis? Why are you doing that? You understand? Why you forcing us to just work there and not everywhere else? And they said, man, they ain't do nothing wrong. Go ahead and work where the hell they tell you to work. They ain't do nothing wrong according to them. These people, brother, you better wake up and see this, smell the coffee. You understand? You better wake up and smell the coffee. Okay? Because they didn't even care that these employees was being pushed into this situation. It was like, so damn what you was being pushed into this situation. Nobody cares. You being pushed to work in black neighborhoods, too goddamn bad. Hold on one. Too goddamn bad. Okay? Okay? And another side note on the whole story. Remember I mentioned that she came into court with flanked by two old Reagan appointees? Well, one of them Reagan appointees was an ex-member of the John Birch Society, which is a undercover conservative white supremacist group, okay? Fronting like they're a conservative Christian right group when really they're white supremacists. And what you seeing is white supremacy cloaked as being pro-religious and pro-all people, when really they white supremacists, and they'll still adopt black children and use them for whatever they need to use them for in whatever way they think. They might feel that really, and remember, The Handmaid's Tale is about these women having these babies to take over the United States. They might feel that these black kids is they right as slaves, as concubines, and they ain't gonna never say it. They ain't gonna use the term. They're gonna be cloaked with the term. I'm not saying that's the case, but it sure is looking like that. And for her to come in there to be appointed to the Supreme Court and bring a John Birch Society ex-Reagan appointee, okay, the biggest drug dealer in U.S. history, Ronald Reagan and his crew of gangster dope dealers, okay, for her to bring one of them in court with her, you saying, you know, black people is nothing, and black people are, and once again, it's being thrown in our face because this is why we should be fighting against her. Like, if you're gonna fight against this Edomite, this devil, you're gonna fight against her. This the reason to fight against her. That she do not have control over our children. That she do not make rulings that destroy us. Instead, they went hook, line, and sinker against her over the abortion issue. When the abortion issue, we supposed to be against. You understand? We supposed to be against. Instead, we on the side of it, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay? Let me get a little bit more on this thing right. Here's another one that went down, okay? In a campus sexual assault appeal case, she literally argued against believing women. In a separate decision, a woman won a lawsuit after she sued for being repeatedly, not once, repeatedly raped by a prison guard. A circuit court ruled that the prison shared responsibility for the sexual assault, meaning the prison was part and parcel that they partly were responsible for this sister getting raped. This same judge voted to overturn that decision. In a unanimous decision, conservative court jesters, as Roots calls them, decided that the prison and the county could not be held liable because of the numerous rapes, to our people, because of the numerous rapes, fell outside of the guard's duties and were in no way actuated by purpose to serve the county. Imagine that. So in other words, you imprison a female in prison, in the county, in Indianapolis, you get raped in prison, and according to these people, the prison, the guards, none of them are liable for what happens to you. Even though you in their custody, even though your life is in their hands, you incarcerated in their prison, in their county, in their state, they totally unaccountable for it. You on your own. This is what they decided. This is the kind of madness, man, we dealing with. This is the madness we absolutely are dealing with. And this is who you putting on this court, which, let me tell you something. Again, we fighting for the wrong reasons. We better get on the right side of this battle and start to stand with the Lord for the things he said to fight for. You ain't even fighting for sisters being raped, black people being segregated where they work, black people not being compensated or given in, or white people being given no responsibility for killing us while handcuffed. Something been going on. You ain't fighting for none of that, but now you gonna fight over the right to kill them babies, man. This was a good story they brought out, man, because this is what should have been the issue. This is where it should have gone, man, but instead it didn't go here. Let me give you a little white family. This is what black people in Christian churches love. They think all righteousness lives here. All goodness and solemn joy and wonderfulness. And Lord knows what's going on behind them smiles right there. Who knows what's going on in that house behind them smiles, man? It's crazy, man. A couple quick ones for you, all right? Give me Deuteronomy 28:32. Here's what the Lord said. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. That's what's supposed to be happening with us. We're supposed to be longing for our people, longing for our tribe, longing for our nation to be one with the Lord and to really serve the Lord. Instead, we could get careless. We'd rather murder them in the abortion clinic, man. Okay? And there shall be no might in thine hand. And there is no might. When that earthquake came in Haiti, there was no might. They came in there and they said, man, they had to stop. They had to stop Hillary Clinton's assistants and others from running down there snatching up them Haitian kids, man. They was running down there, man, snatching up them Haitian kids and shipping them all over the world. Many a times the families didn't even give the approval for them to have these kids, man. Many a times the kids got separated from the parents and they could care less. They took the kids, put them on a plane, and before you know it, they was off. The minute they passed the law allowing them to adopt them for a period of time, that was it. They went and snatched them kids up, and Lord knows where them kids are now and what they got them doing. And of course, they'll pull out a couple and give you the impression that, see, we did a wonderful job with them. And let me tell you something else, too, that need to come out. They be raising these black kids like, you know, they're going to raise them better than you black people raise them. They try to act like they're going to raise black children better than you raise black children. Okay, when what they really going to do is brainwash and humiliate and break the spirit of black children. The proof of that is that these cases we just read. This is the same person ruling on these cases that's sitting there with the Lord's chosen, these Levites, these Haitian children in her house. Okay? And you gonna tell me her husband is all good, righteous man and ain't never gonna touch none of that child. Okay? And let's see if that child ends up marrying a black man or a Levite man. Or is she gonna be caught up into the white Christian madness and end up marrying one of them? Let's see what's gonna go on, man. Who knows what's in the heart of these people, man? Get Genesis 15:13. Here's what it says. And he said unto Abraham, Most High, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. This ain't your home, man. You a stranger in this land the way you was a stranger in ancient Egypt. and shall serve them. You gonna serve them. Even the ones they adopt, you still serving them. They found out not too long ago how they had children that were being adopted by the Amish. This is going back a few years. And they had them working the farms, man. It was like slave labor back in the fields. And when the child got a certain age where they started sniffing around for the white daughter, they got them the hell out of there and shipped them back to the city. Dumped them like they was garbage. Okay? They caught a judge in Pennsylvania not too long ago. Man, this judge was an absolute monster, and they still doing it because they built new prisons over there in Philadelphia. Let me tell you what they did. The judge had hooked up with a prison, and the prison was paying this judge hundreds of thousands of dollars, so that when your child got caught with truancy and had to come before this judge, you think you can bring your child to court, you thinking you going to court for a little summons because the child didn't go to school or cut school, was in the playground or on the basketball field. So you bringing the child to court like, you know, you gonna cost me some money. Look, you know they're gonna fine me. You should have never cut school. You get in front of the judge. This judge turns around and sends your child to prison, man, to a juvenile prison. And that child gets shipped to that juvenile prison, and of course, who pays for it? The state. The state pays that prison. The prison was turning around and giving the judge hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they caught the judge. And that's just one case in one city. In one city. Righteousness cannot reign until all nations are in their own land and ruled by Christ and his disciples, man. That's when righteousness will reign. You will never have righteousness reign in an empire where you've been the slave for 400 years, man. Get your game right, man. Get your spirit right. All the spirit of your masculine way is supposed to be pushing towards building this nation up, man. All your manhood is supposed to be about repairing and putting this back. It's yours. This is your family, man. It's your nation. The hell is wrong with you? This is your people. You acting like you the dodo bird, everybody mixed together in a melting pot. That's a damn lie. None of that going on. These cases ain't happening to nobody else. They happening to you. Let me get something else. Okay? Let me read that one again. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. That's exactly what happened to us here. Leviticus 18:21. Thou shalt not lay any of thy seed. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech. That's the serving of the gods of the other nations. We was in there sacrificing our kids to some god that some other nation made up. Why, you couldn't get me to serve the white Jesus for nothing. Or no other god, no Arab god, nobody's god. I ain't dealing with nobody but the nigger god. That's the only god I'm dealing with. I ain't dealing with no other gods, man. And he said, let there be no other gods before me. I ain't bringing no other god. So don't tell me about no other gods. You understand? Those of you sitting up in church worshiping a white Jesus, you worshiping Molech, man. And every time you see this shield on my head or one of these shields, y'all quick to say, that's the shield of Molech. Nigga, that religion you in is the shield of Molech. Them gods you serving is the shield of Molech. Them babies you allowing to be murdered in that abortion clinic is the seed of Molech, man. Is the religion of Molech. That's passing your kids through the fire, murdering them babies in the womb. The hell is wrong with you? The hell you gonna wake up, man? Middle of the 21st verse. Neither shalt thou profane the name of the Most High. I am the Most High. That's what the Lord said. One more for you. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds. Okay, this is talking about an actual vineyard. I'm metaphoring it for you to understand. You not to be going out there trying to build multi-race relationships. It's against the scriptures, man. And it hurts you. It hurts you, man. Lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Man. God's chosen people are holy. To be holy means to be separated for specialty, man. And that's what the Lord's 12 tribes are. Only you've been made common. That's like you going into the vault, taking the gold out, and just throwing it out in the street in the mud for anybody to grab and use and waste and mishandle any way it wants to. That's what's happened to these 12 tribes. Instead of fighting for them to come together, you fighting for everything against it. Both Trump and Biden, all of them are a bunch of wicked, evil people up there, man. But you got a king and a champion and a warrior in Yahawashi. Nobody lay it down like he. That's why the scripture said he gonna have that vesture dipped in blood. He gonna get to killing in this earth, man. He gonna get to killing these nations. You looking at the coronavirus, this the warm-up for hell to come to those who've been in heaven for so long, man. I want you to stay strong in the spirit of the Lord. Hey, listen, if you like this tape, hit the like button and share it, man. Hit the share button. Everybody share it to their own personal Facebook accounts. Share this video, man, to wake up brothers and sisters all over this earth. Hit the like button. Check me out Monday night. I'm live every Monday night. I bring the heavy hitters in. We do it up live right on this same channel. I'll see you.